Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Race 7 of the Toyota SFR Championship, and a quick look at the standings after 6 races out of 9. Demon R leading the way on 109 points, Iceman in second place, and then DGT League SGP in third, with Steve F1 not too far away, and then we have Hulkenberg, Dave the Harp, Jason, Twilight, Rodders, Bunzel, SRI, Rich Blues, Groover, formerly Gary, Drew, My Bad and Tyler. Last time out, SGP had a phenomenal race, so let's take a look at how he got on in qualifying today, and yep, it is another pole position for him. He will be joined on the front row by Demon R, and they're followed by Steve F1, Iceman, Dave the Harp, Jason, Twilight, SRI, Rich Blues, Groover, Hulkenberg, formerly Gary, Drew and Jay Bunzel. Okay, we're up for a 40-minute race around the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. Let's join the commentary team. Here we go then, the drivers are ready to attack the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. SGP on pole position, Demon R in second place, and away they go, and it looks like a good start from SGP, and somebody in the background was sideways straight away.
Yeah, I don't know who that was, but they obviously don't know the circuit as well as the front guys, but yeah. Steve F1 in third place, side by side with Dave the Harp in the background, and Demon R manages to hold on to P2. If he gets in the slipstream, he could have a cheeky look for P1.
He definitely could. Iceman also trying to attack Dave the Harp and Steve F1 in the background, but SGP has held on to the lead, headed towards turn 4 into Decido de Largo. Can he keep hold of the position? David Harp, I think, was just running a little bit wide in the background, and yeah, he's lost a position to Iceman, but Demon R is all over the back of SGP as we head into turn 6.
Yeah, it could get very messy, because Steve F1, he's shown pace every single week, and he is joining this party.
That he is, and Brazil, as we know, James, it's one of those tracks where the fastest way around the circuit is on the racing line, but if you stick to the racing line, somebody behind you is going to have a look up the inside.
Yeah, but all that'll do is end up compromising the exit as Iceman gets a little bit squiggly on the traction there. But we're heading into what I call the final corner, but I don't think the actual circuit classes that as the final corner.
You're right, it isn't actually classified as the final corner, neither is the bit they're going round now. It's the bit they're coming up to in a moment, but everybody does call that corner the final corner, really, and it is known as Junção, as Demon R's got a decent run on SGP, but I don't think it's close enough to attack into turn 1. Steve F1 has dropped back a little bit, or Demon R's getting really, really close, but didn't even have a hint of a look at going for an overtake.
Yeah, strange that, but Demon R is a cool customer, and SGP won last week. I'm trying to remember where we were.
Really.
Where were we?
You know what? I can't remember. We didn't race last week, that's why. It was Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Valentine's Day, it's ruined my memory, and yeah. Demon R, it hasn't ruined his eyesight though, as it's up behind SGP, and I've heard from the pit lane that Demon R is also suffering with very sore eyes.
That he is, although you have just said that he hasn't damaged his eyesight. But also, I do want to mention, you did just say, oh yeah, Valentine's Day, that ruined me. What did Vicky do to you?
You don't want to know, but Demon R's going to ruin SGP's bumper if he gets any closer. Oh, very, very close. Looks like there's going to be some rubbing going on, just like on Valentine's Day.
There is. Demon R definitely applying the pressure. You mentioned about Steve F1 being very quick recently, and he really has. He's been impressing everybody, I think, with his racecraft and his pace. I think he's had third place a few times this season now, but Demon R is closer on this occasion than he was on the previous lap. Is he going to have a cheeky look heading into turn 1? I wouldn't be surprised if he does, but at the same time, he is a bit of a wily old fox, and we've mentioned before, he does like to try and get drivers out of position.
Yeah, but SGP is no mug, and I don't think he'll be jumping to defend if he knows it's a quicker line on the racing line.
Definitely. Demon Arlo is trying to close in that gap as much as possible. This is interesting stuff. I know we're not seeing a lot of what's going on a little bit further back, but when you've got a battle for the lead, we've got to have a look at it. SGP, he's just ran a little bit wide. That could give Demon Arlo an opportunity heading up towards turn 6, but he's going to be on the outside for turn 6. It's going to be dirty out there, James.
It's going to be dirty, but can he hold it? Here we go, side by side. SGP on the inside just manages to hug that apex, but is this going to leave an opportunity for Demon Art to shove it up the inside? No. SGP manages to hang on to the lead.
That he does, and just look at how much time those two have lost to Steve F1 as Demon R is all over the back of SGP again. SGP covering the inside line. He does not want to allow Demon R to chuck it up the inside as Iceman getting closer to Steve F1, or Demon R having a look up the inside of the left-hander, but backs out of it. SGP's positioning his car very, very well at the moment.
Yeah, but these two have got such similar pace. I think probably the best opportunity for Demon Art, if he isn't able to get a clean move into turn 1, I'd go for the undercut.
Yeah, definitely. The undercut can be extremely powerful at most places. Always really close. He's really, really close. I think he's going to go for the move. Is SGP going to go defensive? Yes, SGP is going to go defensive. Demon Art goes up the inside anyway, but he's going a little bit deep. SGP going for a switchback. Can he make it? Holy cow!
Oh, that was as close as you want it, but that just shows you why these two are up at the front. It's not only because they're fast, it's because they know where each other is, if that makes sense.
It does, kind of. I know what you mean. Oh, SGP's ran wide again in turn 4. He's struggling a little bit in that corner. Is it possible, James, that his tyres are going a little bit, or could it be because of the pressure being applied as they go side by side up towards turn 6 again?
Yeah, it could be that his tyres are going just as much as my brain, but yeah, SGP going defensive once again. Demon Art on the racing line. Is SGP going to be getting his tyres full of dirty old marbles? You don't want to be out there.
No, you don't. And Steve F1's closing that gap again. Is Demon Art going to have a look up the inside? No, he's not. He's sticking to the racing line again. SGP covering it off. And what I mentioned about it, like, if you stay on the racing line, it's the faster way. If you do defend, it is slower, and that is being shown by the fact that Steve F1 and Iceman are closing in on these two rather rapidly.
Yeah, there's a bit of a gap from SRI back to James Hulkenberg, so the top 6 are really pulling away now.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you mentioned about the undercut, James, and I was going to say that it's powerful at a lot of the tracks we've seen in the DGT League, but I've got a feeling here it could be massive because of this track being an absolute tyre killer. Yeah,
but luckily there, I think the main thing for me around this circuit, and I've heard a lot of drivers say this, if you nail turn 1 and 2, you're set up to absolutely nail sector 1, and you've got to go slower to go quick through that section.
Yeah, definitely. SGP, I don't think he was struggling with his tyres earlier on because he's managed to rein it in a little bit, and the gap now opening up between 2nd and 3rd. So Steve F1's tyres may be going a bit as Iceman is closing that gap in, and Hulkenberg, who started 12th, is up to 6th place at the moment, just behind Dave the Harp, but it looks like, you know what, I think SGP's pulling away from Demon R here, you know, James.
Yeah, I think it could possibly be that Demon R's just been getting a bit too close, and with him not being able to actually do a cheeky move for the lead of the race, he might have slightly scrubbed them front tyres just a bit too much in the dirty air. And there, as we said, there is James Hulkenberg in P6, and he's pretty much holding up a pack right now behind him. And there's a fair gap between himself and Dave the Harp in P5.
Yeah, Twilight though, he's really trying to attack James Hulkenberg. He's having a look up the inside into Juncal, but James is trying to defend it. But no, James decides he's going to go for the switchback, and as it worked, you know what, I think it will, because Twilight's run a little bit wide. That's clever driving as Steve F1 is into the pits, so he's the first to pounce from the leading 3 cars. But this is, as always, the pack is chaotic.
Yeah, and James Hulkenberg, he's been speaking to me earlier. I know him quite well, and he's been telling me that he's done absolutely zero practice, so he'll be quite happy right now to be in P4, only 8 or 9 minutes into the race.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say only 8 or 9 minutes behind the leaders then. The interesting...
It looks like it from the track map, as you can see. It's a fair gap between the leaders and P5.
Yeah, I was going to mention about Steve F1 as well. It's interesting to see where he feeds out, and it is into 8th place, right sort of just behind the pack. SRI pitted before Steve F1 and has closed the gap nicely. Steve F1 making a move on Groover straight away, wasting no time at all. Groover trying to defend it up into turn 6, but with older tyres that's not going to work. That's a lovely move from Steve F1, but it's crucial seeing where Steve's come out, because that kind of lets SGP and Demon R know where they may come out, as Formula Gary's struggling now on his tyres. Steve F1 making moves.
Yeah, it's easy pickings at this moment in time for Steve F1, as people's tyres are just crying enough, but Formula Gary's not giving up.
No, he's not. Lovely bit of driving from everybody there. Dave the Harp is in that pack as well. He pitted at the same time as Steve F1, so Dave the Harp has managed to close the gap up to Steve F1, and I wouldn't be surprised, as SGP and Demon R both into the pit lane, I wouldn't be surprised if Steve F1 and Dave the Harp both jump Demon R and are quite close to SGP, you know.
Yeah, so Iceman's carried on, he's going long. His strategy of taking tyres very long indeed is the characteristic of how he goes racing, and James Hulkenberg, he's carrying on as well.
Yeah, up to second place for Hulkenberg then, so where will SGP feed out? There is that, no, that's Demon R that could see in the pit lane there.
Yes, Demon R's just coming out of the pit lane. It'll be crucial for him to get out in front of James Hulkenberg in this little pack.
Yeah, SGP we saw just in the distance, heading down to turn 4 already. Where is Demon R? Demon R is there, but he's ghosted. He's ghosted. That's an unusual situation. Well, Hulkenberg is through. Now Demon R is not ghosted, and looked like, I don't know if that was a bit of lag or because of the ghosting there.
Yeah, possibly could be because of the ghosting. But I wonder why the ghosting could have happened.
Well, I will see if I can find out. I shall send an email down to his pit crew and see what I can find out.
Nice one. But yeah, James Hulkenberg right now, he is really getting in the way of Demon R. Demon R needs to dispatch of him pretty quickly, because he cannot afford to be held up behind James Hulkenberg.
Demon R, yeah, he doesn't want to get held up behind him, and he's trying to speed him up a bit as well.
But yeah, apologies. Dave the Harp and Steve F1, they're just down the road from him, and Demon R is definitely racing them. Has SGP pitted? I think he has, yes.
SGP did pit as Demon R making the move on James Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg on older tyres, hasn't pitted yet. Yeah, SGP managed to get out ahead of the pack, and that could be crucial for him. He is already closing the gap in on Iceman up at the front, as Hulkenberg, is he having a look at attacking back on Demon R? I think he is. Dave the Harp is right up there with Steve F1. Well, Hulkenberg, no, can't quite make the move, as we've got Bella joining in on the commentary. Hulkenberg's aggressive driving style, but Hulkenberg has gone off the track. That's going to free up Demon R to try and close down Dave the Harp and Steve F1. What's Bella thinking about that, James? Or as Drew is attacking Jason?
I don't know, she's looking pretty miffed off that James Hulkenberg just almost ended up T-boning into the back of Demon R, but luckily took evasive action there down at turn 1. But Drew, is he taking evasive action? I can't quite tell, his car's lagging all over the place.
Yeah, well, he had a bit of contact there with Jason, took Jason a little wide off the track, and he's got Bunsell trying to attack him now as well. Jason in a different livery again this time. Oh, Bunsell, what a move out of nowhere. Oh, but Drew chucking it up the inside.
Yeah, but Drew has took it wide and he lost 3 places there, just from trying to take Bunsell. But yeah, Jason, he's right now stuck in that pack, and he needs to make it out there because he's a fast driver.
That he is. Iceman then leading the race, has not pitted yet. SGP is closing the gap to him, he's right there, so that's not looking good for Iceman, who heads into the pits now. He is going to have to hope that he gets out ahead of the pack, because if he doesn't, he could lose a hell of a lot of time. SGP though has got a monstrous lead, just like we saw in the last race, opens up up a wonderful gap and he's under no pressure whatsoever. However, Steve F1 coming under plenty of pressure from Dave the Harbour. Look at this gaggle. And I'm wondering, whether Iceman is going to be coming out in this as Bunsell trying to attack SRI, getting a little bit physical but makes the move. And now Jason, he's trying to attack SRI, but that's not quite worked. And there's Iceman. Yep.
Yeah. I think he might be about halfway in the middle of this pack. Yeah, he's there in P7 at the moment. May have just been knocked down a few pegs. Yeah, he's in P8 and Twilight. Can he try it round the outside? But Iceman just doesn't want really to be getting tangled up in these drivers.
No, that he doesn't. Groover struggling a little bit on older tyres. Drew in there as well. Iceman trying to close the gap. Who was that on the inside? There was somebody in a white car. Looked like they were trying to get a bit aggressive as well. I couldn't quite tell who it was, but Demon R out of nowhere. He's attacking Dave the Harp, so he's managed to close the gap up the inside into Bico de Pato. Can he make the move? Dave the Harp, though, you know what? That's a good bit of driving from Dave the Harp, holding it around the outside there. But Demon R's not giving it up just yet.
So yeah, he just carried the speed there, but Dave the Harp now is going to be compromised up the hill. Demon has just managed to get the traction spot on there, but Dave the Harp is going to have to get back in the slipstream if he wants to hang on to this position.
Yeah.
No, it's actually still side by side. I was expecting Demon to be in front by now. It's still pretty close.
He's just creeped ahead, and Dave having a look around the outside. It's possible that Dave was getting a bit of he's going for the move. He's going for the move, is he? Oh no, he's ran a little bit wide. That's going to compromise him into turn 2. That was ever so close.
But once again, absolutely fantastic driving over the edge of the limit, but still didn't create contact. It takes 2 to tango, and both of them knew what was going on there.
That is not a sight I want to see. Demon R and Dave the Harp having a dance.
Well,
not with the way I've heard they both like to do a bit of grind. Have you ever seen them twerking? It's not a pretty sight.
Twilight. I saw Twilight then, and my brain was thinking he was called Twerklight. Anyway, he's coming back on the circuit just behind Jason. Jason, I think he just pitted. And yeah, his livery is getting a little bit more fluorescent every single week.
Well, last time out it was multicoloured. This time out it's a bit plainer but more bright. It's more in your face, I think. Groover it was who had the white front of the car that I saw getting trying to make moves a couple of laps ago. And just a reminder, in case I haven't mentioned it already, it is a 40-minute race which will work out to a 25-lap race here in Brazil as Jason is trying to make moves on at the back of Groover. Twilight is all over the back of SRI, and Hulkenberg, the buzzing bee of the Jordan. Oh, it's a wasp, isn't it? Oh, Groover's ran wide. Jason sneaks through. Lovely move. And Hulkenberg dispatching Twilight straight away and heading past SRI. But SRI may just have the slipstream of Groover. Oh, SRI closes the door on Twilight, but Twilight's coming back on Hulkenberg.
This is just getting a bit too mental. It's going to be going 4 wide down. It was turn 1. James Hulkenberg on the inside. He's on the dirty side of the track. And Groover hanging on SRI sideways. How on earth only himself was going sideways there, I don't know.
Yeah, well, if you were going to say how on earth has he saved that, it's because he drinks iron blue.
Oh, bloody hell. Anyway, let's not get racist. Anyway, here comes Groover now. Can he try and have a look back at James Hulkenberg? He's up the inside. James Hulkenberg leaves the space, and that's nice to see.
Yeah, Demon R all over the back of Steve F1 now. And I am hearing, you asked James about why Demon R was ghosting coming out of the pit lane. It was something to do with a problem with his steering in the first stint that he couldn't fix until he was on his way out of the pit lane. But he's lost a lot of time, but he's still in the race here, attacking Steve F1. And we've seen these two battle a few times. We've seen these two battle a few times this season, and Steve F1 has been doing better and better on every occasion.
Yeah, it's Demon R now. He's slightly on fresher tyres. However, I would say the tyre life between the two is probably very similar right now. Demon R's had to do a bit of battling, but yeah, Steve F1 in the pit.
Yep, so, I mean, looking at the timing, yeah, Steve F1, he's not quite going to the 10 minutes, or Dave the Harp, he must have recently pitted, and he's absolutely in the middle of the pack, as Hulkenberg is trying to make a move past Groover. Dave the Harp is trying to make a move past SRI. Drew is in there as well, trying to keep the peace. Is he going to be able to? I don't know.
Oh, it's going to go. Oh, there's been a bit of a love tap there on the back of James Hulkenberg from Drew, and SRI is just muscling his way through in the background. But we've got somebody coming out of the pit lane. I'm not too sure who that is.
I've got a feeling it's going to be Steve F1. Yeah, it is. Is he going to get out ahead of the pack, or is he going to get held up by Hulkenberg heading down to turn 4? I can't quite see at the moment, but we've got a right gaggle of cars here. Oh! SRI, yeah, he got that one a little bit wrong. Twilight's giving him a bit of a nudge as well. But yeah, SRI making a little bit of a mistake there and collecting the back of Dave the Harp. I'm pretty sure those two have got magnets on their cars because they've come together a few times this season.
Yeah, and Groover's run a bit wide there, so that's just allowed James Hulkenberg back into P5. But yeah, Steve F1 straight away manages just to get out of the pit lane in front of the pack, and that was crucial.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned it before. When you make a pit stop and you come out in the pack, you have to make moves quickly. If you can actually pit and come out ahead of the pack, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, 'cause it just means that you can look after your tyres while being quick, whereas you come out in the pack, you're going to end up scrubbing them tyres just trying to get past, and then once you're through, your tyres are a bit knackered, so it inhibits the chance to pull away.
Yeah, now Demonar into the pits, and considering that he was right behind Steve F1 when Steve pitted, I've got a feeling that Demonar is going to come out into this pack. Dave the Harp, though, is all over the back of Drew. Drew moves over, goes defensive. Dave the Harp will say, no worries, I'll have some of the race in line, thank you very much. Can he make the move, though? Going for a bit of a switchback. He may have to do a double switchback. Is that Hulkenberg taking a new route through turn 2? Oh, out turn 3.
Yeah, he's running very wide. I think his tyres are absolutely shagged.
And there is Demonar coming out right behind Hulkenberg. Crucially, though, ahead of the majority of the pack, Dave the Harp. You know what? I think if Dave the Harp hadn't got that bit of a tap from SRI, he may have jumped Demonar, you know.
So Demonar once again needs to make this move straight away. Is he going to go up the inside?
No, he's going to go around the outside. Or is he going to go for a switchback? He's going for the switchback up the inside.
Move.
As you said, though, James, another situation where it takes 2 to tango. No contact at all. Lovely to see.
Yeah, and Dave the Art now, he needs to get away from this pack because he was fighting with Steve F1 and he's stuck in P6 at the moment.
Yeah, Drew looks like he's off into the grass at the moment as we've got Jason, Rich Blues, not mentioned Rich Blues much this race so far, but yeah, Jason, Rich Blues and Formula Gary having a battle, but Dave the Harp all over the back of his good friend James Hulkenberg. He's not over the back of him, he's up the inside of him. Sounds like a dodgy movie, that.
Yeah, so he's gone through, and once again James Hulkenberg just opting for better traction out of the final corner. I think he's coming back at him.
He is. He's actually slightly ahead of him. That might annoy Dave the Harp a little bit, and in the background, oh, it's a fantastic battle going on there, but Dave the Harp with the fresher tyres, can he make the move around the outside into the Senna S's, turns 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, Hulkenberg, I think with the slightly worn tyres, kind of backed out of that one a little bit. SGP is pitted, coming out of the pits now, right behind Iceman. We saw this at the last race as well, with Iceman trying to go long and SGP pitting and coming out right next to him. So I don't think Iceman's strategy is working here like it didn't in the last race.
The only way it's going to work for Iceman is if he can in any way hold up SGP, but that's only going to then help Steve F1.
Yeah, definitely.
But Iceman, if his tyres are absolutely knackered around this circuit, especially with such a long run from the final turn to turn 1, I pretty much doubt that you're going to be able to hold up a driver.
No, not of the calibre of SGP on brand new tyres compared to tyres that have been on the car for what, 10 minutes or so. I think it's sort of sitting duck situation. Yeah, and there we go, up the inside, SGP goes. Iceman can't do much about it at all. Best thing he can do here is duck into the slipstream, another duck analogy, and see if he can attack back. Oh, Bunzel all over the back of Drew with Formula Gary there. Rich Blues getting all sideways. Oh, Bunzel. Wipe out!
Yeah, I think he wiped out James Hulkenberg there. I don't think he'll be appreciating that one. And that's just completely screwed up James Hulkenberg's strategy, because he went in P7, now he's down to P11, he's been shoved off the track. Once again, he's going for the pit lane, I think.
You know what? It almost looks like Bunsell was trying to let Hulkenberg come back through there, but he was absolutely surrounded by a load of other cars, and every time he moved to allow a bit of space, he was being attacked. But he's now attacking Groover as Formula Gary in an interesting liveried car there is watching from behind. And Gary, we bigged him up at the last race, is massively improving, and he's in a bit of a different battle this week.
Yeah, not so straightforward this week, as Drew has found a lot of pace, but Bunsell there as well, he's also found a lot of pace, as Drew may be finding that pace out on the runoff area. I don't think he'd be finding pace if it were grass out there.
No, that is very, very true. But 2x2x2, well, 2x1x2 into turn 6. Bunsell trying to round the outside. Is it going to work? No, Drew's going late on the brakes. Twilight gives Bunsell a nudge. All Drew's lagging about a bit. Can Groover do anything about Drew? It may be difficult if Drew is moving about quite a lot. Yeah,
I've got to say, for the guys in this pack, from 7th backward, it's got to be so frustrating for him, as there's so much lag going on with Drew's car. It must just be so frustrating not knowing where to position your car.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've done commentary on a lot of different racing formats, and lag is definitely a bugbear of every single racer, as De Minaur has closed the gap in on Steve F1, and Iceman still has not pitted, and he's now got Steve F1 closing the gap on him, but De Minaur having a cheeky look at Steve F1. This is an interesting situation though, James, for De Minaur, because both of these guys are catching Iceman. Is it even worth De Minaur attacking Steve F1?
In a way, I'd say it's 50-50 for me, because if you allow Steve F1 just to prance off into distance and he gets through past Iceman, and then you get stuck behind Iceman, that's just more time to lose. So really, I'd probably say it's probably worth seeing if you can keep close, and if an opportunity presents itself, you go for it.
Yeah. I'd be tempted to agree on that one, as Steve F1 is sort of semi-going defensive, semi-cheekily having a look. Iceman's tyres have gone. You can tell he's losing so much time in the corners. Steve F1 is all over the back of him. Iceman going defensive. Steve F1 going around the outside, and De Minaur trying to go around the outside of him going around the outside. But no, Steve F1's gone for a switchback. That's a lovely overtake. Now around the outside, and De Minaur trying to...
Fantastic.
That is fantastic. Steve, we haven't been bigging him up enough. Iceman trying to attack back on De Minaur into the final corner, but I don't think he's going to have the traction up the hill, and De Minaur's got the slipstream as well.
Yes, Steve F1, what a fantastic move that was. Just, the tyres were old on Iceman's car, but he just absolutely judged that to perfection. But De Minaur, he's closing back in, but Iceman's in the pit lane.
Yes, he is. So, I mean, as I just mentioned that we haven't been bigging up Steve F1 enough, and I think that's a fair comment. We were bigging up Gary a couple of in the last race for massive improvements, but we've both known Steve F1. You've known him longer than I have, but the improvements I've seen in his driving since I've known him, it's been very, very, I was going to say dramatic, but I think that's the wrong word.
Remarkable.
Yes, that definitely, it's remarkable.
Yeah, now De Minaur is trying to rub some of that remarkable dust off his rear wing onto his front bumper, but he's up the inside. Is this going to be close enough? I think he is close. He's gone up the inside. Steve F1, is he going for a switchback as De Minaur pulled this one?
Oh, De Minaur's gone defensive. You know what? That's a lovely bit of driving from the both of them there. Steve F1 realised he couldn't turn in. And again, I mean, it goes without saying, really, but I'm going to say it anyway. It takes two to tango. Steve F1 knew how to position his car there.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely fantastic. And SGP's so far in front, he could probably stop for a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Well, I was hearing stories that just before the race he did say he was thinking he needed a comfort break. I think he's now got time to go for one. Steve F1 though, his tyres are only one lap older than De Minaur, so he may be able to fight back here as Hulkenberg is closing in on Twilight. Twilight's going deep though. That's going to give Hulkenberg the position, is it? Yes, it is. Nice move from Hulkenberg. Rich Blues and Formula Gary going mental in the background.
Yeah, so it's all kicking off behind James Hulkenberg. James Hulkenberg up to P5. To say he's done no practice, that's not a bad shout at the moment, but I'm just trying to work out who's behind him that's really quick. It's Iceman. So Iceman, I expect him to be coming through this pack, and there he is in P6.
Yeah, with fresh tyres, as well as Dave the Harp's having a look up the inside of Groover, and I think Drew was having a look up the inside of somebody as well, but I couldn't tell just who. Oh, Demonar's running a little bit wide. Steve F1 is still on the back of him. I mentioned that you might be able to come back at him, and he is doing. Demonar's covering off the inside line into turn 6, basically saying you're not going to do what he did to you. That's too confusing for me to say.
Well, yeah, you sounded a bit like Chuckle Brothers then. to me.
That
but
doesn't
yeah,
work anymore, though, does it? It goes to me.
To me.
To me.
To me.
To me.
But yeah,
That's
unfortunately,
harsh, actually, but anyway.
well, you know, we're harsh people. Anyway, Demon R managing to hold on to P2. Would you think it'd be worth pitting to try and chase after SGP with fresh tyres? Or do you think the risk of falling into this mental pack from P6 down, it's like throwing a young virgin to a set of piranhas?
You know what? It's Groover sideways. I don't know if you've got a bit of a tap there. SRI all over the back of Twilight. I will answer you in a second, James, as Iceman is all over the back of James Hulkenberg. Different levels of freshness of tyre as Demonar and Steve F1 are in the pits. What I was going to say was, if I was Demonar, I'd be focusing on Steve F1. He would not want to get undercut by Steve F1 again, so he has to pit at the same time or before him. Iceman, though, attacking.
Yeah, he's on so much fresher tyres. He needs to make this move if he wants to be getting up with Demon R and Steve F1. Oh, James Hulkenberg's run wide in turn 2. I think them tyres just give up. Oh, there's been a bit of a love tap though round turn 3, and there's some people coming out of the pit lane. I think that's Demon R.
It is, it's Demon R and Steve F1 both coming out of the pits next to Iceman and James Hulkenberg. So the battle is on for second place then. Steve F1 I think did the right thing pitting at the same time as Demon R. There was no point going on for the extra lap, and I think Demon R did the right thing, making sure that Steve F1 didn't pit before him. And given that they've come out where they did, I think if they'd have gone for another lap, I think they'd have been in the pack.
Yeah, definitely. So Iceman, he just managed to get past James Hulkenberg, and the last thing he wanted was guys with fresher tyres right up his backside. But unfortunately, that's exactly what he's got.
Yeah, and he's going defensive now, taking the much tighter line. He's going to be slower on the exit. Demon R much faster through the corner, but he's tagged the back of Iceman. That's compromised himself. It's compromised Iceman. Steve F1 nips through, wasting no time there.
Yeah, he pretty much just waited for an error to occur, and there it came. And I don't think Demon R really made an error. I think it was just the fact he was just not anticipating Iceman to be so slow. But Demon R's back in the slipstream now.
That he is, and SGP is into the pits, the race leader into the pit lane. So Demon R, Iceman, side by side, right behind Steve F1. Are they going to go 3 wide into turn 1? They might try it. No, Steve F1, he's through into first place. Demon R now into second place. Iceman in third. Demon R's got a decent run on Steve F1 here. Where's SGP? Yeah. He's already down the road, so Steve F1 is now no longer in first place.
Yeah, but here we go. Is Demon R close enough to have another look back at Steve F1? There we go. He's pulled out of the slipstream, under braking into turn 4. Oh, that's a lovely move. I thought he was going to slightly understeer there. Ooh, Iceman talking of understeer. There we go.
Yeah, I think he may have got a little bit unsettled on the curb there, and unfortunately gave Steve's door a little bit of a knock-in, but he might run a little deep now, having taken the title line. But Steve F1, is he going to go around the outside? Holy cow!
What a move!
Yeah, and Iceman's now having to go defensive for, because of Dave the Harp, but Steve F1, who has been teaching him to drive?
That was the overtake of the day so far. Yeah. What a move round the outside. Yes, he's on fresher tyres, but damn, it takes some balls to do that.
Yeah, definitely does. So, the situation at the moment then, SGP leading the way, Demon R second place, Steve F1 right there in third and on the move. Iceman in fourth place, he's got a longer stint than the drivers around him. Dave the Harp, he's there in fifth place, so his tyre's going to last till the end, I don't know. Jason is right behind him though in sixth place. He's kind of come out of nowhere as Jason, as he tucks into the slipstream of Dave the Harp. So
yeah, he's a bit of a
you've got to end that word.
It was a bit of a dark horse when it came out like dirt, and I thought that's close to an offensive word here in the UK. It would have ended with head, but I wouldn't say that. Anyway, Jason, he's a dark horse, and he's galloping all over the back of Dave the Harp for a wing.
That he is. Just to update you a little further, but actually Dave the Harp going defensive. This may benefit Jason if he goes for a little bit of a switchback. Could have a good run on the edge of the corner. Yeah, Dave the Harp ran wide. So Jason there up into fifth place. Just behind these two is Drew, Bunsell and Hulkenberg, who must have recently pitted. He's now right behind a 3-car battle. No, he's right in the middle of a 3-car battle.
Yeah, I think he's pushing Drew at this moment in time. Probably wanting to stick behind Drew because he doesn't know which direction Drew's going to be going in. But he's going up the inside. Here we go. Just late on the brakes. Is he going to handbrake turn it? No, he's just managed to hold it. But Drew, he's sideways. Yeah,
Bunsell managed to follow Hulkenberg through as well then. Jason looks like he's closing in on the back of Iceman. You know, Jason, he really has come out. Oh, Iceman! He might run a little bit deep there. That's just compromised him quite a bit. But yeah, Jason's doing well here.
I know Iceman likes to go long, but I think he's really picking the wrong strategy. He's so quick today, but the tyres are just not allowing him to show how quick he is.
Yeah.
He might be worth just pitting for a set of super softs or softs near the end and just banging in some flying laps, because right now he's leaving himself wide open to be. He might finish down in P5 or 6 here.
He could do. Dave Harp, he's just pitted. He was in 5th, 6th place a moment ago. Jason had just passed him. So Dave Harp, with 6 minutes to go, has decided to pit and get a fresh set of tyres. Basically doing what you're on about there, James. Like the tyres are going off a bit, losing a bit of time. Stick a fresh set on and see what you can do. Iceman, though, at the end of every stint he's had in this race, he has been losing a considerable amount of time. And Jason may be able to capitalise on that. Hulkenberg, who pitted not too long ago, saw him in that battle. He's not too far behind these guys, but he is ahead of the majority of the pack. There he is.
I think he's about 4 seconds behind Jason. Swileight's having a little cheeky look at Groover.
SRI got a bit of a twitch on then, and I think Twilight and Groover both managed to get past him, as SRI did very well to control that. It's so easy to lose it in the middle sector here at Brazil. Let's see if he can attack back in any way, shape or form, but he has got Bunsell right behind him. Dave the Harper's come out of the pits in 10th place, and here we are, Jason all over the back of Iceman, heading up towards the main straight.
Yeah, Jason, every single week he just seems to have a really, really slow burn start to the race where you kind of think, he's going to end up probably about P7 or 8. And then he just gets a sprint on near the end, and here we go. He's side by side passing Iceman down the start-finish straight. I don't think Iceman's going to be able to outbrake him here. Oh, he's trying it, but I doubt he's going to be able to hold it yet.
Yeah, he's gone deep.
Yeah, it's Jason's through there, and that's just superior tyres for you. And that's what I'm saying. He's lost out to Jason, and really, if he'd have pitted earlier, he could have been fighting way past Jason and holding on to P4.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a dig at him. I mean, it could just be with him being still fairly new to the game. But, I mean, if he'd have gone for a similar strategy as, say, SGP, he could have been up there in that fight with SGP, Demon R, Steve F1, rather than losing the time towards the end of the stints. Hulkenberg has got Twilight catching him up.
Yeah, I think right now Hulkenberg's just trying to get to the end of the race, but the last thing he needs is to be falling into the back of this pack. Dave the Harp's there, he's in P9.
Yeah.
Can he make his way through? He needs to make his way through as quick as possible if he wants to Hold on to P6. Ooh, Groover.
You know what? I think Groover was going defensive there to try and cover off Dave the Harp, and unfortunately couldn't get the car stopped in time and T-boned Twilight. He did slow down though and let Twilight back through, which is the right thing to do. It's a fair thing to do, and Dave the Harp took that off. Dave the Harp's just done a right sneaky little overtake on Twilight.
Yeah, he just kept caught him napping there, if I can get my words out. And as well, Drew's in the background having a cheeky look at Groover. Ooh, a bit of a love tap there. But yeah, Twilight, we actually got fantastic traction there, and Dave the Harp's on fresh tyres, but you wouldn't have thought it out of that final corner.
No, Twilight, mate. Oh, he's going to run wide, he's going to hit the wall. Oh! Yeah, usually you only see cars out there when it's raining. But yeah, that probably cost Twilight the opportunity to go for the overtake. He's now got Drew and Groover up the inside. Drew's going late on the brakes. He's not going to get that stopped in time, is he? No, he's not. Dave the Harp was a little slow in there as well. And that means that Twilight, with a decent run, is going to be all over the back of him. And you know what, James? I've got a little bit of a story to tell you.
Oh yeah, what's that?
There was a family of potatoes. Right? A family of potatoes. Groover. Is he going to make it? No! Oh dear.
Dave the Harp's going to be absolutely foaming after that. He's been doing so well throughout this race, and then we've only got a couple of minutes left and he gets T-boned.
I mean, once again, Groover he's slowed down, he's waited for Dave the Harp, which is the right thing to do. It doesn't change the instant frustration from a driver when you are on the receiving end of it, but at least it is respectful to see the offending driver realise, they made a mistake and instantly pay it back in the only way they can on the track.
Yeah, so what were you telling me about some potatoes?
I might have to tell you in a couple of minutes' time when this race is over, because this is all heating up a little bit back here with Rich Blues and Twilight now.
Yeah, it is a hot potato back here, and Dave the Harp's just making it scalding hot as he's right on the back of Rich, but I think SGP's on the final lap.
He is. He has started the last lap of the race. We saw him in a battle early on with second place sitter Demon R, but he's ran away with it since then. Steve F1 has dropped off the back of Demon R, but he's comfortably in third place. Jason, phenomenal drive, getting himself up to fourth. Iceman's in fifth, and then we've got Hulkenberg, and then absolutely going for it is Drew, Dave the Harp, and Twilight. You know what? Twilight's a driver that I've mentioned before. He does constantly improve, and his racecraft has been getting better and better, and that shows, because Dave the Harp is no easy guy to fend off.
Yeah, and he's trying, shoving it up the inside, and he's managed to make that move, but Twilight's keeping a tighter line. Can he try it back? I don't know.
Who's that right behind Dave the Harp? Who is that? Is
it's
that
Rich.
Rich Blues. Rich Blues is up the inside. He may be able to get a move on Twilight here. Dave the Harp has managed to get ahead. No, Twilight is still in ninth place. Drew has been taking a few trips off the track, I think. It's difficult to know where his car's been. SGP, though, is heading up towards the start-finish line for his second win in a row. What a fantastic race for him here in Brazil. Takes the victory. Great stuff from him. Demon R will cross the line to take second place. I think you'll be fairly happy with that. Steve F1, a brilliant drive to sit on the podium. He will eventually cross the line in third place, with Jason, who's closing the gap on him actually, doing great in fourth, and Iceman in fifth, and then good luck, someone's in the barrier.
Yeah, somebody's in the barrier. Oh, Dave the Harp's just been shoved, and he's had to take a base, and that's just shoved Rich. Rich is sliding. Rich is all over the place.
Twilight's sliding. Someone else is sliding, and I've no idea what the finishing order was now.
I think from seventh back, that would just might as well have been called wacky races.
Quite possibly. It could have been worse though. It could have been worse. I mean, Rich Blues was right in the middle of the box there. They had nowhere to go, I don't think. But what a race. What a race. SGP, right, since he had the race at Brands Hatch, I think it was, where he would admit himself he had an absolute shocker. Since then, he's been nothing but phenomenal. Pole win.
Yeah, can he do the Triple Crown next week? You know, he'd be. If you were going to bet against him, you'd be quite
cynical.
Silly. Well, yeah, I think his performance in this Toyota he's just getting better and better. And I think what it boils down to is he didn't want to perform like he did at Brands Hatch. That were just the catalysts for the kick up the backside to get these 2 results. And fantastic job. Ever more Sebastian Vettel-esque.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
hang on. We might be away. Hey, SGP, how are you doing? Oh, thank you, boys. Unbelievable. Thank you, I love you. Cheers, SGP. See you later. Well done. Bloody hell, it's remarkable, isn't it? We've had a dog in the commentary box and the race winner.
Yeah, and a potato. So, would you like me to tell you the potato story? I know the answer is no, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Right? There's a family of potatoes, right?
Yeah.
And
what they're called?
Mr. Potato, Mrs. Potato.
Right, okay.
Right. And one evening, all the family is sat down for dinner except for the daughter. She's out. Right?
Ooh.
She's out. So the family is sat there, they're having dinner, and then the daughter comes home with a boyfriend, a new boyfriend.
Oh, no. He's not shoved some mayonnaise in there, has he?
I would hope not. You put me off there. So she's brought a new boyfriend home.
Yeah.
And Mr. Potato, the dad, starts going mental.
Yeah.
I do not approve of this boyfriend. I do not want you seeing him anymore. I am against this completely.
Is the boyfriend a potato?
Yeah. And the daughter, she starts crying and she says, well, I don't know what the problem is. Why don't you like him? The father turns around and says, because he's a commentator.
I thought you were going to say he's a Jersey Royal.
He's a commentator.
Well, you know, we've had 3 commentators in the box today. Me, yourself, and Bella. You know, very interesting. Especially getting we'll be getting a whole new set of subscribers from like Doug the Pug to some
Lassie.
Batsy Dog Zone. They might be subscribing to.
Quite possibly. Right, we will take a look at the final race order in just a moment. We'll say once again, well done to SGP for taking the victory there. An interesting race, plenty kicking off in the latter stages of that race for sure. Next up though, James, is Monza with no chicanes, and that track in these cars could be quite interesting because they're pretty quick in a straight line, but it's not the most straightforward of tracks that. I mean, it's only going to have one of the little chicanes in it, but still it's an interesting track for these cars.
Yeah, I expect the gaps between the majority of the field to be so close.
Yeah.
Because without so many corners and the effect of the slipstream is just going to be so massive, and especially the undercut is just going to be so rapid. I think it just mainly depends on how much time spent in the pit lane, because Brazil was quite a long pit lane, mainly due to the fact of the pit exit at Brazil. You don't actually get back control of the car until literally rejoining the racetrack, whereas I personally, I've been speaking to a lot of drivers and they were saying that they were expecting to have control of the car literally as soon as you leave the exit of the pit lane, the 90-degree left-hander. Yeah,
I mean, at Monza, you're pretty much straight into the pits, straight out of the pits. But we did have a race early in the season where there was a pit lane like that, and it was quite a long time still in the pit lane. But the interesting thing for me with that track as well, and I kind of like the fact that the admins have gone with the no chicane version, because that means it's just an absolutely flat out run all the way around Curva Grande, which means you could easily end up in a situation of 3 wide or 4 wide in a couple of rows going around Curva Grande, which could result in great racing, great overtaking, or massive crashes.
Yeah. Just thinking, hopefully it's in a bad omen for SGP. But let's just hope he doesn't have a weekend like Sebastian Vettel did last time out at Monza.
Monza, yeah. Steve and I might disagree. Okay, I am hearing as well that there is a little bit of news from the DGT admins.
News? Did you say news?
We do have an announcement from the DGT admins, and it reads as follows. Due to a number of drivers' complaints about connection making it almost impossible to race against Drew, the admins have seen footage of his lagging over the past few races and have had to make the difficult decision to suspend Drew from league races until his connection shows improvement in practice lobbies. So it looks like the DGT admins have been in conversation with Drew, and obviously the DGT admins do know Drew, they've known him for a long time. So it wouldn't have been an easy situation to have that conversation with them. But I think from a driver's perspective, I can understand the decision.
Yeah, well, I was talking to James Hulkenberg earlier before the start of the race, and he was saying from previous races, he really does like Drew and he respects him as a driver. However, what he doesn't understand is where the hell he is. So, bit of an odd one, really. And I bet it's just exactly the same for all the rest of the drivers. I have no clue where to position the car in that midfield pack.
Yeah, and it is a shame for Drew as well, because I have been hearing that he's been making dramatic improvements in his driving. But it's one of those situations, you can be the best driver in the world, but if your car's lagging about and causing collisions, then, and the things from his perspective, I don't think he's necessarily seeing any of that happening, so he has a very different perspective of what may be happening. But I can also understand the DGT admins taking a few races and to have a look at it and go, okay, well, is it a one-off? Okay, it's happened in a couple of races now, right, we'll keep an eye on it in this next one, and then we might have to do something. So I can I know it may have frustrated a few drivers, them not having taken any action prior to this, but at the same time, I think it's only fair that you give people the benefit of the doubt and give an opportunity. I mean, it's like, for example, if you saw Steve F1 lagging in a race, it would be harsh to go, oh, he needs to be suspended. But if you started lagging in the next race and the next race and the next race, then you could go, okay, there might be a bit of a problem. We need to have a chat with them.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, unfortunate for Drew that. However, if his connection does improve, I'm sure he'll be back fighting for it.
Definitely. I mean, what I would say to Drew is keep going on with the DGT guys in the practice sessions and the casual races and stuff like that, and keep improving the driving, and if the connection does show to be considerably better, they'll put you straight back in there without a question, and you can improve your driving as you're going along. Okay, time to bring this one to an end, I think. Actually, no, there was something else I was going to mention, James. For anyone that hasn't seen it, on the DGT Facebook page and on the YouTube channel, because that's where it was released, the Dynamic GT League have released a new logo, which I believe is going to be in full use from the next championship onwards. I'm just wondering if you've seen it, James. That's where you go, no, I haven't seen it.
No. It might be worth showing a picture of it. Maybe the viewers are looking at it right now, I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
You've said that, I'm going to have to show a picture of it.
But yeah, I'm not only looking forward to the tail end of this championship, but I'm also looking forward to a lot of the drivers have been teasing the new liveries for season 3.
Yeah. And
yeah, that'll be. We could do maybe a little bit of a livery show.
You see, I've already been thinking about that. It is possible. It depends. It is possible the DGT guys could. Well, I said DGT guys, but in this occasion it's been me and James. We could put together some kind of livery reveal. It could be interesting, but I know when the Red Bull Junior was announced, James, you were massively enthusiastic about the decision, but actually I think the anticipation and the suspense with that car, it's been growing and growing with things like the liveries and people having a go in the car, and when the tracks get announced, I think that could be another feature of what the next championship will be like. And also with things like how well SGP is ending this season, how well Steve F1 is ending this season, how Iceman is going about his different strategies. He's worked in some races, not in others. Hulkenberg charging through the pack. Dave the Harp has had a few journeys in the last couple of laps and could have finished higher. Jason with his late race pace, plenty of drive, everybody improving. Is wide open for the next championship.
It is. Yeah, indeed. It could be anybody's. I mean, Demon Eyes, he seems to. I mean, I'm not tempted for it, but it looks like he's got one hand on this second championship as well.
Yeah.
And you'd be slightly silly not to rank him as the number one. Clearly, if he's wrapped up both two championships, but the season 3 car is completely different.
Yeah, definitely. It is a very different beast to the previous two cars that have been used in the championships. So, I mean, this season has been very exciting, very entertaining, and I can't wait to watch those cars go around the track and commentate on them, because it could be an absolute disaster, but it could also be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Let's hope for the latter.
Definitely. Right. Okay. Time to bring this show to an end. So thank you very much, James, for joining me on. I say bring this show to an end. I've got to go through the final standings in a moment.
I was about to say that. Let's have a look. Everybody, let's. It's been a pleasure to commentate with you, and Bella's thinking the same as well. But let's have a look at them final standings.
Okay then, thank you, James. So the final race order goes as follows: SGP taking the victory with a big gap back to Demon R. Steve F1 takes a brilliant third place, and Jason sneaking through to take fourth. Iceman finished in fifth place with Hulkenberg not too far behind him in sixth. Drew with one of his best results in seventh place, closely followed by Bunzel, Dave the Harp, Groover, Twilight, Formula Gary, Rich Blues, and unfortunately SRI finished at the back. But given that sort of little bit of carnage on that last lap, it's no surprise that positions changed around quite a lot. And talking about positions changing around, let's take a look at the current championship standings with only 2 races to go. Demon R leading the way on 126 points with a 31-point gap back to both Iceman and DGT League SGP, meaning Demon R could take the championship in the next race. Steve F1 is now in 4th place with Hulkenberg not too far behind him, 20 points behind him, in 5th place. And then we have Jason, Dave the Harp very close together, and then Twilight, Bunzel, Rodders, not a big gap between those either, and then it's a very tight battle between Groover, SRI, Rich Blues, Formula Gary, Drew. And then we have My Bad and Tyler rounding out all of the drivers. But make sure you come and join us for the next race, round 8 of 9 from Monza. No chicanes. Will Demon R be able to take the championship for a second time? There's only one way to find out. Or is SGP going to take another pole and the victory? Make sure you come and join us next week.